created by the Lawrence Partnership to educate the Lawrence community on its resources, not only government, but healthcare, finance, and education. Today is an education segment, and we are joined here by a couple of folks from Northern Essex Community College, and we're going to kick it off with Linda Scheidkraut, the Executive Director of Corporate and Community Education. I butchered it, sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, George. My name is Linda Scheidkraut. I'm the Executive Director for Corporate and Community Education at Northern Essex Community College. And thanks for having us, because we're really excited to be able to share with the community everything that Northern Essex has to offer. So as I mentioned, I'm part of the community education group. And what we do at the college is a little different from what you're going to hear from my friend and colleague Maureen a little bit later. But we do a lot of short form types of courses. They can be anywhere from 4 to 10 weeks long. Sometimes they're even a day. Oh, you can actually, sorry, flip the slide. Our classes are considered non-credit, but we often offer pathways from our programming to jobs, and to be able to come back to Northern Essex and follow a career path, either through entering the college, taking the knowledge that you've learned, and we have something that's called credit for prior learning. So there are lots of ways that you can take what you learned through community education, go out to the workforce, work a little bit, and then come back and further your education. Our programs are fee-based, but we try really, really hard to keep them at a price point that is accessible to everyone. And every once in a while, we get fortunate with some grant funding, and we can offer them free of charge. So I would suggest checking out our website all the time to look for what might be free. And so our classes are offered in Lawrence, they're offered in Haverhill, and a lot of times they're hybrid. They might be online, they might be a combination of online learning and then some in-person learning. So really it's flexible to meet your needs. They're offered mostly in the evening, but some of our classes are during the day as well. And classes that we offer repeatedly, we try to alternate so that we can be flexible for your schedule, offering daytime classes, offering nighttime classes. So here are some examples of some of the programming that we have. In our occupational training group, we offer certified nursing assistant, pharmacy tech, a cannabis program where you have 3 different tracks to choose from. So you can learn to work in a dispensary, you can learn how to manufacture, or you can learn how to cultivate. So in Massachusetts, one of our largest growing industries, and you can get some education that will put you ahead of the curve for getting a job. Certified nursing assistant and pharmacy tech are 2 of our most popular healthcare programs. In 4 to 6 weeks, you can be job ready. The CNA program allows you to take the state exam at the end of the program. The state exam is now given in Spanish, English, and Chinese. So you can take the exam in whatever language you prefer, and then you are certified to be a nursing assistant anywhere in Massachusetts. Pharmacy tech, also very intensive 3-week training. There's an 80-week optional paid-for externship, so you can get experience while you're learning. And again, within a month, you can be completely job ready. If you're perhaps working, perhaps thinking that you might want to change and do something a little bit different, we have professional development courses. One of our most popular is accounting and bookkeeping. So if you want to hone your skills in something that you're already doing, if you want a little extra education to maybe get a promotion where you're working, again, these are all short form programming that you can come in, you can learn the skills, and you can come out with a non-credit certificate. And then in general business skills, need to brush up on a little Microsoft Excel. It's a 1-day class, or sometimes it's 2, 3-hour sessions. All flexible, all designed to be on your time frame. And just want to note that aside from everything that's offered at Northern Essex, that there's this little group that also provides different types of training at different types of accessibility to fit your needs, your schedule, and we just want you to know that we're here to help in any way we can. So now, I'm going to toss it over to my colleague, Laureen, who is the Director of Recruitment and Admissions for the credit-bearing activity at Northern Essex. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for having us. As Linda said, it's really wonderful to be here and talk to you about some of the opportunities from the credited side of the college, including the new free community college financial aid. With me is General Duran. He works in Lawrence here. He's located on our Lawrence campus. And actually, I don't know if you want to do the PowerPoint, if you want to go on since you are familiar with it. He does this on his own, so anyway. So again, my name is Lauren Terrell, and I am the Director of Recruitment and Admissions. So the things that I want to go over while I'm here now, I'm going to cover that free community college financial aid award so that you understand how you can avail yourself of free community college. I'm going to touch on our 60 degrees and certificate programs that are covered under free community college. The programs that Linda spoke about earlier are non-credit programs. Those are community education programs. Most people would take those prior to coming into the accredited level, so those are not covered under the free community college, but we have accredited degree and certificate programs that are. I'm going to talk a bit about how you do that. How do you enroll in the college and how do you get that done? And then just as kind of to let you know, these things are kind of scary for people. A lot of people who are looking at this free community college have stepped away from school for a long time. They're adult learners thinking of coming back. And sometimes it can be a little frightening to think about coming back to college or doing it for the first time. And so I wanted to touch on some of the supports that we have at Northern Essex to help students to become successful and to see their way through. The favorite thing I like to tell people is we are a nonprofit. Our goal is never about getting people in the door. Our goal is about seeing you to the other side. So we haven't done our job until we help you reach your goal. And so for us, anything we can do to remove roadblocks, to make it easier and seamless, to get you to your dreams and your goals, that's what we're here for. So we're going to cover some of those things as well as student life. All right, so the first thing is Mass Educate and Mass Reconnect. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, the state rolled out Mass Reconnect, which was a program for adults 25 and over who did not have an associate's or a bachelor's degree, lived in the state of Massachusetts, and it was an opportunity for them to go to school and do something they had never done for themselves and get a degree. That was kind of the testing of the waters, shall we say, and it became so successful that the governor then presented with us Mass Educate. So what Mass Educate is Mass Educate, there's no age limit. You just have to be a high school graduate, so you can be any age, and you can hold a single associate's degree. You cannot have a bachelor's, but if you're someone who went to school, you got a single associate's degree, maybe you got it in something you were interested in when you were younger, but now you've changed your goals, you can come back and pursue an additional associate's degree. You may also pursue any number of certificates that will help you to reach your goal. So say we have a student who graduated from high school years ago and got an associate's degree in business and realized they loved culinary. They could come to us, get their associate's degree in culinary arts, while they're also getting some certificates in baking and pastry, and maybe in entrepreneurship, and by the time they graduate, they have a couple of certificates, an additional associate degree, and they're on their way. So it's a really wonderful opportunity for people who want to change their lives. It covers, actually if you want to go to the next slide, I think that's where I talk about that. There it is. So basically what it is you have to be a Massachusetts resident for at least a year. You need to not hold a bachelor's or an associate's degree for Mass Reconnect. You need to not hold a bachelor's for Mass Educate. You need to be prepared to take 6 credits each semester. This program was not designed for people who kind of want to meander. It's not supposed to be kind of an enrichment, like, wouldn't it be fun to come to class and take a baking class? This is about, I want to change my life. I want to change my career, or I want to make myself more valuable in my career. I want to raise my boat. So you need to apply to the college in a matriculated program, meaning an accredited program, and you need to select accredited program and take 6 credits of courses within that program that you've selected. You can always change majors. If you started out in computer science and decided, you know what, I actually like networking, you can change your major. You could start out in business and start taking some music courses as your electives and change your major to music. So you have that opportunity to change it, but you must be within a major and taking at least 6 credits. You also have to be prepared to apply for a FAFSA, which is the Federal Financial Aid Form. We do have an opportunity for some students to apply for something called a MASFA, which is an alternate financial aid form. But the FAFSA is the one that is most common for people to fill out. The only thing that would block you from that are certain citizenship limitations, or if you had defaulted on loans previously. So both of these programs are going to cover all of your course fees and tuition, and they both give you a stipend for books. Mass Reconnect is a stipend that is a firm number attached to the number of credits you take, where Mass Educate is actually a stipend that is based on your income. So again, how do you do this, right? Everyone says, how do I apply? This sounds great. The way you apply, you have to apply to the college, and you have to complete your FAFSA. So your FAFSA is actually the application into the program because it is a financial aid award. It's a state level financial aid award, but the way FAFSAs work is when you complete a federal financial aid form, it first goes to the federal government. They put on any federal aid that you qualify for. Then they send it to the college, and we look at all the state aid, and we apply any state aid. And there are a number of different grant programs in the state, and then the final one we put on is either the Mass Educate or Mass Reconnect. And then the last step in the first kind of what do I have to do first is getting in proof of high school completion. That is a Massachusetts state requirement that in order to start college level classes, it's also a federal financial aid requirement. In order to get financial aid, you must prove you completed high school. And that can be a transcript or diploma from high school. It can be a GED or high-set certificate. So once you've done that, and you can complete any one of a number of FAFSAs. If you're someone who's here now and who's watching this now and is interested in starting in January or in the summer, you would be completing the 24-25 FAFSA because that covers us from September 1st to August 31st. If you're looking at this and thinking, oh, I think I'll wait till September, well then you would be doing the 25-26 FAFSA, but we'll take care of that with you. We assist students in knowing which one is correct. So now you've heard about the program, you know what you would need to do. So now the hardest part is picking out what do I want to do. There's 60 different programs. So we have on our website, if you want to go to the next, we have a link which I kind of screenshotted here. We have programs that are as varied as American Sign Language, we have culinary, we have health programs, and as Linda mentioned, the CNA program that is here, that CNA program through our non-credit area is extremely popular. Many of our students start there so they can get their feet wet in the health professions, then they will come back, and with Mass Educate, they will get their LPN license, so they'll get their licensed practical nurse. Well, that's a certificate. So now they've gotten that, they get a better job, now they come back and they get their RN. And so now they have an opportunity to get that LPN, that RN, all on Mass Educate for free by starting in the CNA program, doing that 4-week non-credit program, getting themselves positioned. And that can happen with a lot of those wonderful programs. Students who are interested in the cannabis program. It's wonderful to understand cannabis, but it's also really important to understand how to be a good business person. So maybe you want to get your certificates in cannabis, but then you want to come to college for free and learn about how to be an entrepreneur, how to start a business, how to make business decisions, how do you hire people, how do you train people. So we have lots of different programs, art and design, music. We have many options for students. The community colleges, there's 15 of us in the state of Massachusetts, and we're all part of the UMass system. So one of the things I like to remind people is if you are taking any courses at Northern Essex, if you're taking a Comp 1 or a Comp 2, those are fully transferable to any of the UMasses. So if your dream is to eventually go on and get a bachelor's degree, our programs, our courses have to align because we're part of the same system. And so you are getting a very high quality education, and because of this opportunity for the residents of Massachusetts, you can get it for free. So how does the enrollment process work? So in order to do Mass Educator Mass Reconnect, you also have to complete our regular enrollment process. So we have a number of steps. They're designed to help us learn about you so we can advise you in the best way, and for you to learn about us. So we have on our roadmap, I don't, if you want to go to it, I don't think I have it extended, but, so the first thing you do is you apply to the college, you apply to the FAFSA, and you get in that transcript, as I previously mentioned. From there, you will now become a student at the college, and we will start to guide you through the next steps. A lot of students have heard about AccuPlace or placement exams, and they are, it makes them hesitant to come to college. I don't want to have to take a math test. I don't want to have to, sit there and I haven't done math since, high school. I don't want to have to do a math test. We've gotten rid of that. There are no placement tests anymore. What we have is something called the Guided Self-Placement Survey. So what happens is, instead of you taking a test to prove what math you know, you're given a survey that might show you 3 math problems and say, how many of these do you think you could do? And you could say, oh, I couldn't do any of those. Or you could say, you know what, I think one of them I could do. I think I could do one. It'll ask you your reading habits. Do you read newspapers or magazines? Do you like to read books? And by answering these survey questions, at the end of the survey, it will say, based on your answers, we think you would succeed best in this math class or this English class. But you still hold the power in your hands to pick the courses you want. But it helps when you meet with an advisor, for the advisor to say, well, your survey recommended this. How do you feel about that? Is that a place you think you'd be comfortable? Can we put you in that class? Our classes also, it used to be that when people were struggling, we gave them what's called developmental math or developmental English. Personally, I was never a fan of that. If you're in school for 12 years and you're not getting math, one semester in a developmental math class is not suddenly going to part the skies and make you understand math. And the college is very aware of that as well. And so what they have now is courses that have embedded support. So if you're someone who loves to read, but maybe you struggle writing papers, a lot of people haven't written papers in years. You can take a Comp 1 with embedded tutoring and embedded support that will assist you through that course. Same thing with math. You can take a math class with an embedded tutor. So we really are trying to make it as seamless and as respectful and as full an experience as we can for our students, because you're adults and we want to help you get to that finish line. So once you have done the guided self-placement, the next thing we ask you to do is an online orientation. The guided self-placement, each one, English and math, take about 20 minutes each. Or in the case of someone we work with, Ian, who had done the math one, just said, no, I couldn't do anything, nope. Said, I was done in 5 minutes because I couldn't do any of the math. So, it takes up to 20 minutes for the math and up to 20 minutes for the English. The orientation takes about 20 minutes, and they're all done online. You can do them from home. You can come to campus and we help you through it. And so now, from your side, you've done an application and told us what programs you want. You have done the guided self-placement, so we have an idea of about where your strengths and weaknesses might be. And then you've done orientation, so now you know who we are. You understand our language, you understand the things that are going to happen. And by the time you meet with an academic advisor, we know a little bit about you, you know a little bit about us, and now we have very thoughtful and fruitful meetings where we can sit down and say, okay, what is it you want to do with your life? What is it you're dreaming of doing, and how can we help you get there? And that's our only goal, all right? So, as I mentioned early on, we have a lot of academic supports. It's really important that we recognize that being a student isn't something that comes naturally to us. We have to learn how to be good students. And we have to learn how to move roadblocks, and especially as adults. I've never met an adult who said, geez, I have an extra 2 hours in the day, what can I do with it? We're always scheduled to the end of our means. We never have an extra minute. So by adding school, we know that's challenging, and we want to help you with that. So we have academic coaching, and our coaches are there to help you balance out your life and your work balance. So if you take your 6 credits and you're trying to figure out, where am I going to do my homework, and how am I going to get this done, and how do I talk to this professor, that paper I did, I want another chance. Academic coaching is there to help coach you through time management, how to have conversations with your professors, how to be a college student. We also have academic tutoring, which is course specific. So let's say you do really well on that math, you happen to be a really good math whiz, and we put you in, and we suggest statistics, and you say, I want to do statistics. And you get to the midterm and go, I could use a little help. You can contact tutoring, and they'll have a tutor who specializes in stats, and they can sit down with you and help you. And so our tutors are aligned with each different course and each different modality that you might be doing. So if it's online, they can help and meet you online. If you're taking an in-person class and you want in-person tutoring, they can meet you in person as well. So tutoring is there for you as well. So we have coaching and tutoring. We also have an area that is our Center for Accessibility Resources and Services. We have a lot of students who have challenges in their life, whether they're medical challenges or they're physical challenges that will make it more difficult for them to succeed in the classroom. They can meet with the team at CARS, at the Center for Accessibility Resources, and they may have a diagnosis within the neurodiverse world. So maybe they're struggling with focusing. Maybe they need to get up and move around during class. They can meet with the CARS people, and CARS will say, all right, we're going to write up an accommodation for you so all of your faculty know. You need to be allowed to take frequent breaks, or you need someone who can be a note taker, or you need extended test time. Or in the case of my daughter, who had visual learning issues, she would have to go and take a test in a separate room, and they put 2 pieces of paper over each line, so she would just read one question at a time, because if she saw them all, it was a jumble. So that's what CARS will do, is say, okay, what will make you successful? So we have all of these wonderful opportunities to support you and remove roadblocks. We have a page on our website that is all of our student support services that I always encourage people to go to, because I think it's one of the things that makes Northern Essex so special is that we have all of this available and no one has to pay for it. It's part of your tuition. My son went to Framingham State, and so he went to a state school, but they got only so many tutoring, only so many coaching, and then they'd have to pay for the others. You have unlimited support. The other thing that we have is we have a couple of programs that are designed to kind of create a community of learners who might all have similar backgrounds. So our PACE program is part of the federal TRIO program. That is designed for students who are first-generation students. There is a very big difference. If you grew up in a household where both of your parents or one of your parents went to college, when it's your turn to go, there's kind of, you can speak in shorthand because your parent had this experience and they can talk you through it. If you're the first one in your family to go, you're blazing a trail by yourself. And you're not going to know all the jargon, and you're not going to know all of the deadlines, and what does this mean about guided self-placement, and what does it mean about taking, the orientation. So TRIO is there to support a student who on their application clicks off, neither of my parents went to college. TRIO will reach out to you and say, we are here, we're a community. They have a nice office people go and hang out there. They go on field trips, but they offer individual support and group support to students who maybe are just struggling with the overall concept of getting through all of these first steps because they're the first ones doing it. Again, it can be very frightening if you're the first one doing it, and we don't want that to be, because getting a college education is such a beautiful gift you can give to yourself. And when you do something like this, when you are the first person in your family to do this, you're telling the rest of your family, this is possible. You're telling the rest of your family, this is something we can do. And so we know what you're doing is very brave and scary. And so we want to help make it as wonderful and unfrightening as possible and make it a really positive experience for you. The other program we have is SOAR. SOAR is a program that's designed for people who maybe don't fit that profile of PACE. They can, but they don't have to. Maybe it's just someone who, kind of like me, when I was in school, I wasn't that great student, but I wasn't bad enough that anybody was going to come and help me. I just was kind of an okay student. But then you get to college and you're like, okay, well, I was just kind of an okay high school student, and now I've got to figure out how to be a good college student. So a program like SOAR is a great place for students who are like, you know what, I kind of get it, but I really would like a community around me. And SOAR has a lot of separate supports where they have tutoring at night, and they also do a lot of field trips to colleges to bring people out to four-year schools and show them what's out there. They bring in a lot of guest speakers. So these are two programs that are designed to kind of give you a community. And you know, if you're on campus and you're grabbing lunch, you can go and sit in either of those offices. They always have some food, they always have people around, there's always someone who can answer a question, and it just makes you feel like you're kind of part of a community. So the other thing that I think, and this to me is one of the things that makes Northern Essex the most unique out of all 15 community colleges, we have an amazing student life. So the idea in the community college, and the reason there are 15 of us, is the idea of a community college was we would exist within communities, we would serve the communities in which we live, and people would drive to campus or take public transit to campus, go to class, and then go home or go to work. If you really wanted that kind of student life of clubs and activities, most students felt they had to go to a four-year school and live on campus in order to avail themselves of those kind of extracurriculars. If you have ever been to our Haverhill campus, which this is a picture of our Haverhill campus, it's got rolling hills, it looks like a four-year school, it's got a huge quad, the library is beautiful and huge, it has an art gallery in the back, we have a tech center, we have a theater, so we have all these wonderful opportunities. Here on our Lawrence campus, we have an art gallery, we have music classes. If you walk along the campus, it's a sprawling urban campus with lots of opportunities. So we want students to not only come to class and have a wonderful academic life, we want you to feel like you also have a place where there can be some student life, where you can relate to other students. So some of the things that we have athletics. So a lot of the times when I do these events, people are like, I'm not gonna play on a sports team. Well, neither am I, but it's a lot of fun when you're on campus and you kind of hear this din in the background and you realize the soccer, you know, there's a soccer match going on. Or our basketball team right now is nationally ranked. So there's a lot of activities in the afternoons surrounding our basketball team. And I think last week a group went to the women's basketball game that happened at about 4 o'clock. So we are always trying to encourage students. You get out of class, maybe you're looking for something social to do, you can go to the gym. We have a kind of a snack bar in there. You can grab a piece of pizza, sit down, watch basketball game. Our basketball team, our volleyball team, our men's soccer team, our baseball team have all gone to national championships. So our baseball team is very well known. And they recruit from all over. Our basketball team recruits international students. And actually a couple of years ago we had someone on Sports Center multiple times because he had a mullet, and I guess Sports Center loved that. So here, Northern Essex was on ESPN Sports Center numerous times to show the basketball players. But anyway, so in terms of the athletics, for someone who does have an interest in athletics, they can play sports. If they're an adult returning student, maybe they want to go and volunteer to work with the coaching team, maybe they have an interest in that, or maybe you just want to go and enjoy a game. We also have a very vibrant arts. I think the next one is sports. So these are all the sports that we have. The esports actually are on hold right now. I just found out they didn't have enough people for a team this year. So those are on hold, but they think they're bringing it back. I think that's what I heard. So they think they're getting enough interest. So we'll see. But right now we have no esports. But we do have for men, baseball, basketball, cross country, golf, soccer, and track and field. And for women, we have the basketball, cross country. We just added dance team a couple years ago. We have golf, softball, track and field, and volleyball. And the volleyball team, I think last year went 18-0. They're really good. So our sports, they're really fun to go and watch. Now we are part of their NCAA eligibility. So if a student is interested in starting out at Northern Essex and playing sports, they do have to understand that they get 5 years to play four NCAA years of sports. So this, however many years they play for us, it does use up NCAA time. We also have great ways for students to express themselves. So we have the Northern Essex Theater. This year, I think they're putting on fewer plays than last year. We're putting on, I think, 4 this year. We just did one a couple weeks ago that was awesome. And it was a night of comedy, and it was really wonderful. It was vignettes and scenes from famous plays and not so famous plays, but just so beautifully acted. This weekend they're doing a Christmas Carol. So we have outlets for people. Maybe you don't want to be an actor, but maybe you're good with your hands and you want to build sets, or maybe you've always been interested in lighting or sound. Maybe you want to work in that area of the theater. Again, it can be really wonderful, and our theater program, since I've been at Northern Essex, has grown like crazy. And last year they put on a play called Hurricane Diane that actually ended up winning 11 awards through the Kennedy Center Honors down in Washington, D.C. So it's really a fine program. We also have a student-run newspaper called The Observer, which has won multiple awards. It is very raw and uncensored. A lot of our students write really from the heart. And again, if you have an interest in something, maybe you like sports and you want to write an article on Bill Belichick now becoming a college coach. Maybe you like movies and you want to write a movie review. It gives you an outlet for expression. Our literary magazine actually just won a national award last week, and that's more of an arts magazine. If you're a photographer or poet, write short stories, you're a fine artist, that's a magazine that will, show your art. And then we also have music, and actually just last week, or maybe it was earlier this week, we had an ugly Christmas sweater Christmas concert in the middle of the Spurk building where all the musicians came out in their ugly Christmas sweaters and played Christmas carols, and it was just so wonderful. All the students who were coming out of class were, standing around, and it just was a lovely moment. And so we do have rock and jazz ensemble, we have chorus, we have choir. And then we have clubs. These are clubs that are started by students. So I love to spend some time on this because I do think it's important if you're going to come back to college, make sure you avail yourself of downtime as well. Make sure you enjoy the experience. You want to go to your classes and you want to work hard, but you also want to be able to reflect on what you're learning in the classes with other classmates and with professors and be able to enjoy your life on campus. All right, so usually I take questions at this point, but I think that maybe, does anyone in the group have any questions for me? Anyone who's here? Yes?
Has Reconnect, how has been the enrollment for Reconnect?
So Mass Reconnect, which started last year, was excellent. They rolled it out very late in August. So it was challenging because people almost didn't have time to fill out their application and get their FAFSA done in time. So thankfully, Northern Essex has 7 different start times every year. So we don't just start in September, in January, we start in September, in October, twice in January, in March, in May, and in June. So we have 7 different start times. So we were able to take all of those students who showed an interest in late August, and all of them were able to come in on that second start time in October last year. And we ran studies of it, and 97% of the students who started, and it was a few hundred who got in right in the beginning, finished their classes, passed all their classes, and did very well. So we're finding that the people who are committing to this and are deciding that they want to do it are serious about it. And so Mass Educate, we don't have numbers yet because it just rolled out and we're in our first semester of it, but we did see a large jump in enrollment, and we're very pleased with that. We want to, the one thing I do want to address is, oftentimes when you say something is free, it devalues it, right? We put stuff out on the curb when we're done with it and put a sign that says free. I have a bowl of candy on my desk that says free. Sometimes we don't realize when something is too good to be true. And in this case, this really is. This opportunity for free community college isn't because it's not worth it. It's because it is so worth it. It will bring so many residents of the state to their finish line. And you know, I'm always someone who I'm skeptical about things, and I look and I say, so why free? Why free college? And you realize it's because, you know, we need future leaders. We need future teachers. We need future lawyers and architects and you know, doctors. We need those people. And the state of Massachusetts is getting ahead of that and saying, listen, if the roadblock is that college is too expensive, we're here for you. We're going to get you through those first 2 years and get you on your way. And so I think it's wonderful. And I hope people understand what a great opportunity it is and that they seize it. Are there any other questions? So if you can go to the next slide, I'd like to share this. Gianillo has been quiet here and he came here tonight, so I feel bad. I wish he had entered into the conversation, but he's running the PowerPoint. But he is listed here as one of our recruitment counselors. He is bilingual. And so he's on our Lawrence campus every day. Bella and Ian are mostly on the Haverhill campus. And I am mostly on the Haverhill campus. But we're available for appointments. We're available for drop-in. Anyone can reach out and ask any questions of us. Our phone numbers and emails are there. We're also on the website under, you know, Speak to a Counselor, I think it's called. And so we certainly would welcome anyone who has watched this or has been here and would like some assistance in getting to that finish line. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.